Lose a game, I'm in Sainsbury's picking up some chicken and someone's like, you were rubbish today. I'm like, because you'll always have negative Nigel. Do you know what I mean? You'll always have somebody taking a pop.
Trying to pull.
I found non-league the hardest part of my journey. Yeah. Are you going to play for England or Ireland? Who are you going to play for? Oh, always a question. I get more nervous now watching that penalty, thinking, what have I missed? Make yourself uncomfortable. That's the whole primary output of Stoicism. My hands are freezing and I'm going, no, but you know what? It means I'm alive. It means I'm being a bit uncomfortable. Sometimes you have to take a battering. And what do? You dust yourself down and you've got to go again. New world to me, bruv. New world to me.
Yeah. Right, we're rolling. Welcome to Fijian, the Ginge. I'm your host, Diaz, a Fijian. Co-host is left.
Because Ginge is left.
Ginge is left. He's having the weekend off. Family commitments. But the boy's here, the old cameraman / makeup artist. We got a massive guest here today. Not only is he my physio and he's helped me out of massive situations, born and bred in Luton, started his career at Luton, and now worked his way up to building his own physiotherapy place. It's Liam George.
Oh,
Get the effects. That's what I need to know about the effects. I didn't even mention about the European Championship of Ireland as well.
I need 60,000 fans in that effect, please.
Yeah.
Better cheers.
Better cheers.
What was the most you played in front of, fan-wise?
I think it was Sunderland Stadium of Light, not long open, 40,000 people.
Bet I was bouncing, wasn't it?
It was an absolute madness.
Was it?
It was an absolute... And it was the first kind of ground in England where when you scored, they scored, not us, they would play music in the ground, and it was James Brown, I Felt Good. I feel good.
Yeah. Roaring,
and it was, you just look around going, this is a madness.
That's what I mean. That's why sometimes, like yesterday, it was QPR, and they play that. They play a song straight after they score, so they go hoops, hoops, like something like that. But it just gets the crowd going, doesn't it?
Oh, it's madness. And then what they do when they're away, they sing those songs, and you get this kind of massive tribal input, and they own that song. But yeah, I'd say 40,000 was probably.
What did Luton used to have? They used to have the boys are back in town.
Yeah, the boys back in town.
Well, when I first started going to watch it, they did. The boys are back in town. But the movement place.
Yes.
How did you get involved with that, and how did you manage to start that?
Well, the story of physio. Obviously, I qualified. I was a stroke physio to start with, and the problem with my problem in the NHS is I came into physio a lot later. And you have to rotate if you're a physio in the NHS. I don't know what you do and don't know about physio, but you have to see every single area. So you have to do paediatrics, you have to do outpatients, you have to do stroke. Now, I qualified at 31, 32, and I didn't feel like I had 2 or 3 years to find out if there was anything else I liked. I wanted to specialise, you know. So I'd been working on the stroke unit as an assistant while I was still training. And I knew I really had a passion for stroke, and I knew I didn't really like the other areas because I'd been in a hospital and been in that environment for quite a long time. So when they asked me to rotate, I said, well, I don't really want to do that. And I left and came into the private sector. From there, I worked for the biggest company in England at the time. But the aim always was, well, I thought at first the aim was to go into football. But that completely changed once I knew what physiotherapy was. And as soon as you go into a private company and you're making money for someone else, straight away you start to say, well, actually, you start doing numbers to yourself. Well, I'm earning this person X amount of money. If I worked half as hard and took all of that money and had those clients, I wouldn't have to work half as hard. And that's
like the entrepreneur coming out, and like you're thinking,
well,
you're doing a good job. I could do that for myself.
Without a doubt. I think that we all have that in us. And I'm just a plain straight figures guy. I can work for 6 hours a day and earn the same money that someone's working 12 hours a day. Why do I want to work 12 hours a day? You know, do I love what I do? Of course I love it. But I always kind of looked at the plain cold facts and went, well, actually, if I could start my own little practice up and I could get this amount of clients, and it all came down to numbers and figures, that's the wage I'd be happy with. And I just worked backwards really and went, well, that's what my aim would be.
Yeah.
It's like you said, though, a lot of people can do it, but I feel like a lot of people would be scared to do it, where a lot of people feel comfortable just doing
to make that
work.
jump.
Yeah, working for someone. You were just like, I could have that. I could do that. Like it's some people find that struggle to find that.
But again, the difficulty is entrepreneurs, everyone, there's risk in everything.
Yeah,
and there's failure everywhere. But everybody's scared to fail. Everybody's scared to think the world's looking at them. But at the end of the day, do you want to stay unhappy for 20, 30, 40 years? Or maybe not unhappy, just okay? Or do you want to go and say, right, I'm willing to risk it? Unfortunately for me, I'd already lost a career that I absolutely loved.
Yeah.
So there was no risk.
No,
because I'm like,
yeah.
I wanted to be a footballer. I became a footballer. I wanted to have a 15, 20-year career and play X amount of games and play in the Premier League. So when that doesn't happen and when that's taken away from you, you're kind of like, well, what's the worst that can happen?
Was that originally why you stopped playing so early? Was it the injuries and stuff like that?
Everybody thinks it was the injuries. It wasn't. I stopped playing that as early as I stopped at 26. It was taking the power back because I felt, yes, I was injured, but there was always something holding me back from playing the game I loved. And at the time, I didn't know a lot about what that actually was. I was either injured, politics, sometimes the time was wrong. And I just got to the place where I was completely worn down.
Yeah.
Because we have this very much prove people wrong thing. I'll dust myself off, I'll go again. You release from a football club and you go, right, I'll show them. I'll come back better, I'll come back stronger, blah, blah, blah. But when that keeps happening, it's chipping away at your confidence and who you are.
Yeah.
And football's a very subjective game. Us four could sit in this room and say, well, we've all got completely different opinions.
Yeah, it's a game of opinions. I say it all the time.
So I chose physiotherapy in the end because I was at a state where I went, I need to get something that no one else can take away from me. A degree, they can't take it away from me.
Yeah.
Whether they like me or not, I have a degree. Some of the more individual sports, if you run under 10 seconds, nobody can take that away from you.
No, yeah.
But I can sit and watch. No, but they can't, right?
No.
But I can sit and watch a game of football and say, well, I don't think he's very good. I'm definitely better than him. And now I'm confident I am. But if the manager doesn't think so, I'm not playing.
Yeah, you got to impress more than it's more than just yourself. You got to impress.
And it's like you said, it's personalities as well. When you're clashing with people, it's like you said, politics.
It's politics. It's almost gaming. You have to game everyone all of the time. And when you're young and you've got a massive ego and you're impressionable and you want to be the best, it's very hard to understand that there's people.
And that can always not work in your favour as well.
Yes, it can. And does.
Yeah.
We see that all the time, even with the football we watch today. It's all about getting people on side, sometimes ticking boxes, but how can you really be you, the authentic you, if you're playing a game the whole time?
Does that not help? Because obviously you started so early. Was you in the Luton Academy and stuff like that, weren't you? So you've sort of been in that system of...
well, it helps sometimes. I didn't join Luton until I was 13, 14. And football's changed quite a lot. I mean, now there's under sixes and there's all sorts of levels and there's even different layers. There's Copex, there's Academy, there's pre-Academy. They're just trying to... Anyone that's got any football talent right now from 8 onwards, they're just trying to swoop them all up. In my day, which is only 20 years ago, it was more a case of, right, there was one team. If you were good enough and all the boys good enough in this area would play for them, you'd still play for Sunday League and county and your school, etc., etc. However, they only picked the cream.
Yeah.
And I went there as an 11-year-old and I actually didn't like the structure. I didn't like the seriousness. I was a street footballer and I was kind of like, I don't really want to take it this serious. So I left again. Then I went to a couple of other clubs. Again, didn't like the travelling. I went to QPR, an hour out of my week, driving down the motorway. Someone's dad has to pick me up because I'm from a single parent family, have to do all this arranged. It was all too structured, all too serious. I can go out in the back garden, I can go out in the garages, I could get my football fix with my friends. Why do I need to go into this?
It's the enjoyment of it.
Serious environment, right. And it wasn't until 14 when I started to take it seriously. And the reason I started to take it seriously is because I was good at it. And you kind of in your hierarchy, you start to get more attention because you're good at something. And people start to say, well, actually, I wasn't from a massively financially secure background. So single parent, council estate. I went to Cardinal Newman, which was kind of middle-class Irish school. And obviously you had different classes. However, that was my way of coming up the social ladder or the social hierarchy and still being relevant, because I was good at something. So it became, this is what helps me fit in. This is what gets me some recognition, some social status. So I then started to take it seriously. Yeah. And then I got approached by Luton and I was in love with the game as well. And it was the right time. Yeah. It really was.
It just took a bit longer. You didn't feel it right at the beginning.
And I never, at that stage, at all levels of my football career, if I didn't like a situation, I walked away from it.
Yeah.
I will remember a really short story.
Because you got to enjoy it as well, though. What you're doing.
That's all it's about.
It's about enjoying it.
Yeah,
I say that even for work now. If you're not enjoying your work now, why would you want to work?
40 hours a week's a long time. If you don't
It don't
like
matter
your
what job.
it doesn't matter what your job. If you're a happy street sweeper, be a happy street sweeper. If you've got 40 hours of your life invested into something you don't like, you can be the most positive person in the world.
Yeah, it'll break you down.
It's going to break you.
It will break you down, man.
Without a doubt. And I was just someone from early, because I was quite good at school football, and I got invited along, and I played for St. Joe's. They put me on the bench a couple of times. He's talking Sunday morning, cold, winter. Said to my mum, I'm not getting up. What am I going to go stand on the bench for? What am I doing that for? I can wake up at 10, I can have some cornflakes, and I can go and play with my mates.
Yeah.
So I said no. So for a whole season, I didn't go. Then they came back because, again, you're doing well for school because you play for your school teams because, you know, you're the best player. Oh, you're going to play. You can go in the A team. You know, we definitely, oh, no, well, if I'm going to play, I'll come along. And it wasn't an ego thing. It was I didn't see the point in standing on the sideline, cold on a Sunday morning, for football.
If you were going to be there, you wanted to.
Because I love the game. I'm going to play or I'm not going to play. And that's nothing to do with ego whatsoever. It's I love this game.
Yeah.
I want to be involved or not, you know. So, and that was my kind of all the way along. It was I'm playing because I love football. I'm playing because it makes me feel good. It gives me some self-value. And it was never because I just wanted to be a footballer or anything like that, you know.
So ultimately, is that what kind of done it for you at the end? You just fell out of love with playing?
Massively. I fell out of love with what I thought the game was.
Yeah.
I fell out of love with the experience. And people think football's always good. Listen, it's the best game in the world. It really is. And well, anyone will say that about their sport. But when you're involved and you're playing and, you know, you're travelling in and everything's good, it's the best. But when you're not, it's a bit like having £1 million in the bank and not being able to touch it.
Yeah.
You know, and not being able to do anything.
It don't really mean nothing either, does it then?
It means nothing. I mean, even on the bench, and you will have heard lots of famous players admit this, I've seen my team win 3-0. We're on the bench. Not played. Don't feel like I've won. Am I still happy? Yeah, I'm happy for my teammates. But the manager hasn't set the culture in the club up so we all feel like we're winning.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm dropped. I feel like I'm not a part of it, you know. So therefore, I'm not I don't feel like I can celebrate it.
It's not a team. It's not a team
I always
sport.
used to think stuff like that with, like, you know, like the Champions League, where players would have been in the squad or named in the squad but not really played no games, or played 1 or 2 in the group and then not played but then got a medal for winning it.
Yeah.
Like, would you still come out of that thinking,
You'd feel disheartened. I'd feel a
League?
bit disheartened because you've not put in anything except for maybe training.
It's a great question. I think that it all depends on the club, the culture, the manager, everything. Because if you feel like a family, and us 4 here were trying to build a business, and someone wasn't that involved, but we all got there, we'd all celebrate.
Yeah.
So your manager is key. Your manager can make you feel the best in the world, even when you're not involved, or he can make you feel completely disengaged. So if my mates are winning and I feel like I'm involved, I'm going to celebrate it.
Yeah.
Now, I could have got 2 yellow cards and missed the final. I'd have played if I was, you know, I could have picked up a hamstring injury so you don't always not feel a part of it, but I think that's really down to what does your club feel like? You know, what's the tone in there?
The passion.
Yeah.
How is everyone coming together as a collective?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And when I didn't know there was a difference. I come up at Luton Town was a family club, and it still is. It's got its identity back, but it was lost for a very long time. And people think that I say that it was lost because I'm bitter. I say no. From when I was 14 till when I left at 21, I was looked after like a son, you know, a brother. Everybody at Luton knew each other. I still have got great relationships with a lot of them. But what you'll see in the years that they were probably their most successful, they lost all that identity.
Yeah.
And what I mean, even on the pitch, there was never really anyone from Luton playing. You know, for about 5-6 years, I think Jake Howells was the last player who played in the first team for a significant amount of time, and he was from Hemel Hempstead.
Yeah, so
but
you're not even from Luton.
Well, Luton's a very special club. I think that local matters, but you will always be able to look at the Luton squad and say, oh, he goes to such and such school.
Yeah.
Well, that's someone's cousin. Well, that's someone. And it had that real feel before me. Ricky Hill, Mitchell Thomas is from Luton.
Yeah.
Ricky Hill's from North London. Brian Steen's from North. So you can go through generations and generations and generations and go, my brother knows those. My uncle knows those. They went to this school. So there's a real connection.
Yeah.
even last year, James Justin was playing, you know, back to, I know all his uncles.
Yeah, Frankie
Brilliant.
Masonda was in and around the squad.
Right,
as well,
there you go.
wasn't
So you go, I identify with that team and we were always that team. But that got lost for 10 years.
I feel like that's important for the fans as well, because it feels like people from around your area, you can relate more to people when they're playing and they're like, oh my God, I went to school with him. Like James Justin, for instance, like people always come and say like, oh, he went to this school, he went to Stockton. Like they're proud of him.
Massively.
He's in there, like putting, it's sort of like they're putting Luton on the map. Now he's at Leicester doing well, but you always say, oh, he was at Luton, he's from Luton. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You're proud
You
of
put them on the
people like
map. You put in you from that place.
Well, you look out
good.
for them, don't you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So fundamentally, and that would work both. I was very proud to be from Luton. I love Luton. I'm from Marsh Farm. You know, I rose out of that. You know, I'm not rose out of that because it's great people, but I'd be in town and people would say to me, I'm a part of the community.
Yeah.
And at the same time, when you lose a game, I'm in Sainsbury's picking up some chicken and someone's like, you were rubbish today. I'm like, yeah, I know I was rubbish, but I just want some chicken and pasta. I'm licking my wounds.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to slide into Sainsbury's. So I'm not going to go out tonight because I
Some
learned.
people just don't think, man.
Well,
do
no, they
It's-
don't. But again, that's the connection.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
when you're winning, you get pats on the back. When you're losing, you got to take what you take. You know, and I learned, you know what, if we've lost quite badly and we were struggling in the season we got you relegated, probably don't go out in town as much. Because you're going to probably get a few of those supporters.
Is that annoying though? Like people like that. Like we were asking Frankie, who was on last week, about now he's like a bit more well known around thinking like would people coming up to him annoy him or speaking to him or asking for photos? Like, is that something that used to annoy you or did you like embrace it?
Because it's not, it's a privilege.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we're not on anything of the Cristiano Ronaldo, Leo Messi.
yeah.
You know, I'm in Sainsbury's picking up some pasta. So a 30-second autograph, never really bad. And if anything, later on, it's like, oh, that feels nice.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
that's the whole reason you're in the game. So you've got to take the rough with the smooth. You know, you've got to have this. I think sometimes people can overstep, and I think there's lots of examples of people trying to push people in moments, which I don't think's right. I think I seen a clip of Roy Keane the other week outside the ground, and someone tries to take a little dig at him.
Yeah,
They're
I
just
see that.
looking.
Yeah. For arguments.
Yeah,
isn't
well,
it?
why? You don't know him, you know. I think that side of it, but there's idiots everywhere, isn't there?
Yeah.
But generally, my experience with Luton and being a part of the town and playing for the town, only good memories.
Yeah.
You know, only good things, and even the bad things. Some of them are quite funny. You know, I'm getting lectured by a guy in the middle of town in Heights, and it's a Saturday night, and he's trying to tell me what I should be doing on a Saturday. Do you know what I mean? I didn't think you dropped the shot. You should have opened your body out to score today. I'm like, all right, yeah. You don't look that bothered. I'm like, who wants to play football and never wants to lose?
Yeah.
I don't want to lose at anything. I don't know about you guys. I don't like losing at anything.
No,
I'm
it's the
competitive.
same, yeah.
And I say that to football fans all the time. Sometimes you're seeing me or footballers in moments, they don't know what to do. They're completely lost. I've been in games where I'm going, how am I going to get involved in this game? I haven't touched the ball for 5 minutes. The last touch was terrible. I've given the ball away 6 times. How? And you're going to see me in a moment where you think I don't care. I just don't know what to do. I don't know how to solve that problem.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
It's like a puzzle almost. People don't
is.
realise sports is that. It's a little puzzle. You're solving the puzzle 24/7.
and
And
you're
sometimes the battle yourself. You're battling
massively
with yourself.
Yeah. And the game's going by, and sometimes you stand there thinking, how do I get involved? But it looks like you're not trying. I'm like, I'm trying to do everything I can here. And then you're putting your pressure on yourself. The ball comes over, it bounces off you. It's another rubbish touch, and it's spiraling out of control. So you're seeing someone literally capitulate in front of your eyes.
Yeah,
I don't want to do that. I don't want to lose. No one wants to lose. And I say to fans,
You don't
Ooh.
think of it like that. Well, I don't really play football now.
No.
I've never really thought of it like that. People, because you can see it getting too emotional and how they'll just lose control.
Well,
you said with the ball and that.
well, of course, but you don't have to play football to understand it. If I came to your job and
No, yeah,
I
but
was
that's what I
booing
mean.
at you, you know,
Yeah.
well, you didn't put that. Well, boo, you this, you that. I'm like, well, it's not really going to get you a better performance. Now, I'm not saying I should put an arm around you, and sometimes, yeah, that's rubbish. You know, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
But the next thing is, well, how can we help? Because family and in a football club, I never understood why you think anything negative will make anything good.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
No,
in any
no,
scenario
don't,
in life.
don't,
You know,
no.
you're cooking some chicken and you miss, oh, that's rubbish, that is. All right, you cook it then, you know.
Yeah.
I'll take your boots off. You come on here, you play. So negativity doesn't get you anywhere.
No.
But it seems to be certainly in the English game and the English culture of football, embedded in soon as something goes wrong, groans and moans. And I'm
Yeah.
always like, it's meant to be entertainment.
Can you feel it in the ground when you're playing?
You can feel it when you're not confident.
Yeah.
So when you're confident, it can pull you up.
when you're having a stinker, you hear more things. But I would say 80 to 90%.
Is that because you just concentrate on it though? Because you're in that negative mindset.
Well, it's like anything in life. When you're not confident, you start to overthink.
Yeah,
when you start to overthink, you can start to hear more noise coming in. You've not only got your internal speak, but you're listening out for more as well. So when you're playing football and you're on the pitch, I never got the whole home and away thing, because I'm like, we go into flow state as footballers because you're only concentrating on the ball in the game. It's only in moments like scoring goals, like bad tackles, like missing chances. They're the moments, for example, I'm buzzing, I've scored, 4 goals in the last 3 games, comes over, I hit it wide, and I hear, oh. Now, because I'm confident still, and I know I'll score the next one, bang, I get up, I forget it. That's all right, I scored the next one because I'm buzzing at the moment and I'll score goals. I'm not so confident. I haven't scored in 4. The ball comes over, it misses. Boo. Oh, no. I don't want the next one to come in.
Yeah.
I'm under even more pressure. That's another chance gone. So that's when it comes in. But in the general game, you're just in flow state.
Yeah.
The same way you are at work, playing computer or whatever you do, you just get into this state where you're in that moment and you're in that state. So you don't really notice it. And listen, if you're at Man United and you're getting absolutely bopped and you ain't getting the ball, you start to hear the olays and stuff like that. But you're getting hiding anyway,
Yeah.
So
there's not
there.
even much you can really do either. You just got to keep pushing on.
Of course. What else can you do?
No, that's what I mean.
And that's what you're bred to do. It's in your instinct to do that. And sometimes, like you said, in plain sight of the whole world, sometimes you have to take a battering. And what do? You dust yourself down and you've got to go again.
Yeah. If anything, it makes you better.
Well,
you have to take the bad with the good.
Yeah, it's sink or swim. It certainly is. And that's why I get really frustrated. I don't know about you guys. I get really frustrated. Even a lot of this stuff that's going on, and I don't want to get all current affairs-y, but sports people generally have got massive resilience because they should have done their sport for thousands and thousands of hours to become good at it. So when I hear comments about someone got upset because this was said or that was said, and I was like, oh, this fan said that, I'm like, doesn't happen. You've got resilience. You've gone through so many different levels of failure and success to get to any professional level of sport. You can't be that mentally weak that you're letting somebody say something and that affects your whole life. Yeah. It doesn't work like that. And I would like to speak to some of these people that have been massively affected by a comment that's been made. And I want to get in their mindset because for the rest of us, if I go to some of the football clubs, and if I went to Millwall, I would expect abuse off Millwall fans, and I'd expect all sorts of results. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying it happens.
Yeah.
So if you expect, and am I going to go, oh my God, he called me this, he done it? No, it's my job to go there to win the game. It's society's job to sort out all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's politicians and, the press and the media. It's not my job. And also, I don't know, other footballers will say different. I just don't get he's in my inbox and he's sending me bananas, for example.
Yeah.
So what? Delete it.
Oh no, it wouldn't be. Oh, that's my mindset would be like, well, if he's not affected. Like, it don't affect me.
Yes.
Like
Not make a big thing of it.
Move on.
Tyrone Mings, and again, everyone's completely different. Ukraine last year, or whatever, saying to the can you hear that? Can you hear that? I'm like, just get on with the game. I know we all know it's there. But why are you letting it get in your mind to the fact that...
You've lost already. You're losing the war.
Right, go and win the game.
Yeah.
Get out of there. If you're not going to the Ukraine and expecting that sort of reception... what world are you living in? Do you know what I mean? And if you were in China and you were white, you would get racism. If you were in Africa and you're white, you'd get... If you're in Europe and you're of any colour... You're going to probably experience some racism, certainly in Eastern Europe, where there's not as many or as a diverse population. So
it's bad to say, but it's just what happens.
It's reality.
It's just that's the real thing. I feel like the world's got too sensitive.
Way
too sensitive.
Yeah,
Everything's a problem
I think
now.
that's down to social media and stuff like that.
God.
I don't think it helps.
Yeah.
I certainly don't, but I think we're now enabling a hell of a lot more things to go on. I think we've got to toughen up a little bit. We are at the most...
We're going through a stage where we're weak.
Yes.
Very
But
weak.
That's So the main reason I think that is the world is at the most safe it's ever been. We're at the most technologically advanced. We're in healthcare. We're the most advanced we've ever been. That means that most of us don't need to do anything hard. We don't need to go hungry. We don't need to go and fight for our food. We don't need to do anything. We've got houses, hot water, this, that. We've got everything. But our brains are primal still. We still need to go out and do stuff.
Yeah.
And we're not doing any of that. So therefore, we're not building resilience. We have no stress. Us four could go through life, have a hot water on, and you can have our car temperature up. We might not ever even have to feel cold weather if we didn't want to. Do you know what I mean? You could put a jacket on.
We cause stress.
So that makes us soft. You have to stress yourself. You have to become uncomfortable. And we touched on this at the beginning.
But that's why I've just ordered now. I've ordered an ice bath for outside because I've done one today, but that's my new thing where from now on, every morning, get up, 10-minute ice bath.
Yeah.
Make yourself feel uncomfortable because when you
I
feel...
won't be doing that.
You will. When you feel
I've tried it. I won't be going everywhere.
But when you feel uncomfortable, that's where you can go beyond. And like you said, you build that resilience. And we've lost that type of nature. We've lost the nature
I think,
side.
like you said,
to
I think
us.
it's down to the primal thing. Like we've still got that
Our
mentality.
brains are still that old.
Yeah.
They really are. Just because there's advancements, we are still...
We'll never change. That's
No,
the problem.
won't.
Technology is
No.
just moving, and we in ourselves we can't move.
Yeah.
Like we can't move with technology because we're not technology. It's not like we're AI in our brain.
So what you've got to do is, like what you've done, I think the average person has to say, well, how can I be uncomfortable? What can I do? And it doesn't mean forever.
You don't have to get
what
ice
can
baths.
I do? Yeah, ice bath. You know, there's loads of different ways. And when you study stuff like Stoicism and stuff, which is thousands of years old, but still very relevant, make yourself uncomfortable. That's the whole primary output of Stoicism is if you fear something, go and live that fear for a little while because then you won't be scared.
Yeah.
Like if you're scared of being broke, all right, two times a week, live on a £3 a day budget. You know, don't wash the clothes for 2 days. Don't have some hot water for 2 days. If you're really scared of
Put yourself through it.
that's the worst that can happen.
I feel like that's when you're living life on like an edge.
Well-
and that's when you'll feel a lot more secure. When you can live like past a certain point, you feel a lot more.
Well, you'll take risks,
Yeah.
right? So fundamentally in England, we get a job seekers allowance, which is a certain amount of money. So you could take that figure and you could say, right, let me divide that by 7. Right, how much money would I have to live on today if I didn't have a job and I had to pay rent and et cetera, et cetera? You could whittle that down and say, let me practice that. So if I want to change a career, this is the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah.
If I wanted to re-educate myself, could I live on that amount of money? And some people don't have a choice, and that's terrible. However, anyone that doesn't like their job, that's the worst. If you practice that worst case scenario,
That's a good way to look at it. I've never looked at it that way, to be fair.
no, but
Like to do that.
so that's what Stoicism is,
Yeah.
and that's what a lot of the best entrepreneurs in the world talk about all the time. You know, you look at someone like Mark Zuckerberg. He only wears the same colour T-shirt and jeans, and he buys like 30 pairs a year.
Said this to someone the other
Yeah.
day. Same haircut, everything's the same.
Right,
the guy
because he
don't
says,
change.
I don't need to think about doing that. I've got other things to think about. My brain needs. So we can all set up our lives to challenge us in whatever way we want. He's going to have his ice bar.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to go out and do some mindfulness walking the dog. We're all different. You know, I've stopped wearing gloves. I'm on your level a little bit there on dog walks. And I thought, I wonder if I can last all winter being a bit uncomfortable, go out first thing in the morning, my hands are freezing. And I'm going, no, but you know what? It means I'm alive. It means I'm being a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, can I manage this?
I feel like it does. It makes you feel a little bit like because you don't. The problem is it's a choice to get out of your bed and go in that ice. Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
No one wants to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm going to do it though because I know it's going to make me better in the long run.
Yeah.
Like even like with starting something like this, like obviously it's going to go out to. It could be hundreds, could be whatever, but like a lot of people, it's going to start in Luton, so a lot of people are going to be looking at you thinking, "Oh, you done this wrong, you done that." But it's putting yourself in that situation and just doing it.
You can't concentrate on the negative. You've got to look at all the successful people that have done these types of things. Don't read the comments; they don't matter. Do it because you love it. Do it because you're passionate about it. Because you'll always have negative Nigel. Do you know what I mean? You'll always have somebody taking a pot.
Trying to pull you
but
down.
That's not why you do this. You do it because you want to do it. You've got an interest. And if you can just keep that, and you're going to feel uncomfortable. Oh, what are people going to think of it? What are they going to say? Da-da-da. And their vulnerabilities, you've got to practice saying, well, okay, it's fine. Unless it's constructive, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, don't want to see it.
No, you're in your own lane. You're not in competition with no one. This is your lane. You stay in your lane. You only get better.
The most creative people in history have lived outside the rules and outside the box.
Yeah.
So the only way they got there is by someone going, you can't do that. That's stupid. Yes, I can.
Prove it, yeah.
Yeah. Elon Musk. You ain't going to put something on Mars. He's put a Tesla in floating around Mars's orbit.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do. What are you sending the car to? Because I want to. Because I can. Doesn't live to the rules. But too many of us now, because we don't like feeling uncomfortable, We don't like having social awkwardness conform, and therefore we never really are happy. Be you be you, I be me, you know. Doesn't mean we're not always happy, but it means you can practice whatever your worst fear is, you can practice it.
Yeah.
To the point where, well, it's enough.
Well, people find it weird doing things like that, but I think that's normal. And I feel like the people that do make themselves feel uncomfortable or do something a bit different are more successful in life. Whereas other people, they don't want to go through these experiences or better themselves.
We're just interrupting this podcast for a quick sponsorship break. This sponsor is a sponsor we use ourselves. You don't get the best logos or thumbnails unless you head over to our brother at Ollie D Graphics on Instagram. He does everything, ranging from logo designs, illustrations, animations, and much, much more. Head over to his Instagram, shoot him a little DM, say the Fijian sent you, or the Ginge. He might even chuck in a little extra. With excellent customer service, brilliant pricing, it really, really is a no-brainer. All his links are in the description, whether you're watching this on YouTube or listening to us on Spotify. And now we get back with the pod. Thank you.
Well, again, it depends what you define as success, right? So some of those people would never come
I wouldn't
out
say
and
success is like money, but it depends.
No.
Like you said, your own success depends. Yeah.
But if someone's comfortable in it and they're happy and they don't want to take it, fine. That's success for them. I think we have to really narrow this back down to be happy in who you are. Some people are risk takers, some people aren't. You know, some people like adrenaline, some people don't. You know, I know for me, I don't like big hits of adrenaline. And I've gone because I've gone on this discovery. I don't like heights.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. I hate sheer drops. And I went on holiday a few years ago and I'd done a skydive. And I jumped out of the plane. And people say to me, "Did you love it, Lala?" I went, "No, I hated it." I said, and what I realised about myself in that moment is that massive surge of adrenaline that you get in a fast car, that you get where you're completely in no control, that makes me nervous and anxious and fearful. My mate was the complete opposite. He loved it, you know, because he likes that hit. I like small amounts.
Did you like heights hits. Already?
No, I don't like heights.
So I don't like heights.
No,
and that's why I wanted to try it.
Right, that's why I did it. Yeah, yeah. That's why I did it, because I'm always in this constant feel uncomfortable, go and face your fears, see what it's like. And that's why I've realised that I'm not a big adrenaline guy.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not me.
Yeah.
Roller coasters, they're all right. But I like small amounts of
I don't
adrenaline.
really like roller coasters.
Yeah, right.
I don't like like you said, the drops. I don't like that feeling in my stomach, really.
Edges, cliff faces. I'm fine in a plane. But actual, when I can see the drop,
it's like for me.
it's not for me. But I think again, you put yourself in a position where you're uncomfortable, and you realise.
But then you know yourself, like
that's what self-discovery is, right? It's why would I keep doing other things, going off-piste skiing or I don't like that element of fear or excitement or adrenaline or whatever. I like the low-level stuff, so I'll stay at the bottom of the mountain. You know, I might do some tricks on a snowboard, but I'm not going off-piste and coming down some sheer drops because it's not who I am. And I think too many times we either do stuff that we're not comfortable with over and over again, and that creates fear, anxiety, depression, or we don't do any of it. Yeah. You've got to know as a person who you are, and that's what
have a good balance.
Of course, well, your balance,
yours
is different to mine. But not by testing yourself, you know these things, you know.
Yeah. I just want to circle back to when you made your professional debut for Luton. I think you were 17 years old. Was there added pressure being from the town and stuff like that when you went to play, or was it just like another game?
The pressure was more I wanted to play well in the first team. Yeah. Because you're chasing a dream. You don't at 17 you don't think of any external sources. You don't know what the world's like. Yeah. I want to be an apprentice. Tick. I want to get in the youth team. Tick. Right, I've got my opportunity in the first team. I want to represent myself and do well. For me, you don't think of anything else, but this is my dream. You know, it's there in front of me. Can I go and grab it? So I wasn't nervous. I was excited. Yeah. I was excited about doing something I love doing. I was excited about being on the platform I wanted to be on. And you never really think about anything around you. You know, you just don't take it in. I was more excited about my Nova SR driving to like the game and going on the first team coach, staying in a hotel and having the free minibar, you know.
Yeah, the experience that come with it.
And those are the things. But I don't think any of the young players or young people generally, you never really think about big picture. You'd have to be a really wise head, you know,
one of a kind, like smart.
Well, yeah,
there aren't many. What you want. Yeah.
Certainly not in sport. You just do what you've been programming yourself for 5-10 years to do, but just on another level and another level and another level, you know.
But how important was it to make your debut for your country and stuff like that? I know it was under 21s, under 18s, but to win the under 18s championship, I think I heard someone speak about it the other week, like an Irish person saying like it might be one of the biggest achievements for Ireland. As a country in sport, anyway.
It was absolutely massive. We had a fantastic group of players. We had a great manager, and again, it's probably affected me more on a human level and a kind of wide level after it happened, because you're still going out and playing another game. You know, the weird thing about sport, it's not until you step away from it you realise, wow, this had an impact on a lot of people's lives. You know, 25 years later, people are still talking about it, right? But at the time, I scored the winning penalty. People said, were you nervous and blah, blah. I said, no, I was walking up. I was the coolest I've ever been. It's what I wanted to do. It's who I was, you know.
Yeah.
I get more nervous now watching that penalty, thinking, what if I'd missed? Because I know what impact it had on the nation, right? So I think
at the time you're just doing what you had to do.
I get palpitations now watching it, and I know I've scored, and I'm still walking up there going, whoa.
You're feeling everything that at the time your mind would have been taken off of all them feelings.
If I would have missed that, and we would have lost, and all of these people that are so happy now would have been disappointed and never really even talked about it again, because we never talk about disappointments. And I kind of go, oh, good job I scored.
Yeah.
But in the moment, you do what you just do what you do. You know, happy. It was the first time I'd ever seen my brother cry when we came back from that tournament. Obviously, older brother, alpha male, masculine. You know, mixed race, dreadlocks, proper. Road man. You know, he'll hate me for saying, but proper road man. You know, hugged me and cried. So you go, flipping out. He's not even Irish.
Yeah.
He's my brother and he's English and he was born here. And I'm like, wow.
That's the impact what it's got.
I've never seen my brother cry. And this obviously, this means a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and his tears come. My mum would expect to cry. You know, I'm seeing my whole family come out when we go back to Dublin, you know, and all cuddling me, because it's been a question in my family for 12 years, ever since I played football. Are you going to play for England or Ireland? Who are you going to play for? Oh, always a question. And I was like, I'd always play for Ireland because I was Irish. I was my culture, my schooling, everything about my life was Irish. My mum's a very strong Irish woman. So people find it really strange when they say, well, why did you play for England or Ireland over England? I said, as strange as it sounds, I never felt any English influence. I used to go to Ireland on holiday. All of my family's Irish. You know, I spent our house very, very influenced by either Irish cuisine, Irish music, Caribbean cuisine, Caribbean music. So I'm like, I didn't feel any, apart from living here in England, and obviously I'm a Luton boy, I didn't feel connected to England.
Yeah.
I didn't feel connected to the Queen. I didn't feel English.
In that time in Luton anyway, there would have been loads of Irish people.
Oh, Luton,
Luton was
Irish,
full of Irish people. Like you said, you went to Cardiff Newman. You were playing for St Joe's.
Yeah.
That's Irish.
Yeah.
Like there would have been. You would have known no different, really. Like you said, you wouldn't have felt.
Luton's an immigrant town.
Yeah.
You know, it always has been. My mum and dad, it's the no blacks, no Caribbean, no dogs, no Irish generation. There's a massive influx of Muslim and Indian people in Luton. Now we're seeing that the next turn is a massive Eastern European influx into Luton, because we're an immigrant town. So, and what you'll find in Luton, you can almost go out in Luton and you'll feel you could be anywhere in the world. Like,
you go down to the town, you feel like there's so many different nationalities.
It's amazing.
That's a good thing.
Of course it is.
I like that.
Of course the populations and the communities are very diverse. They all intermingle, but you can still feel a very strong connection with who you are culturally, you know. And I think what we probably need to work at is having but the best of both, because they always want you to choose.
Yeah.
Do you want to be this or this? You can't be both.
Yeah.
You know, when you mix race, do you want to be black or white? No, you can be both.
You can be both.
Yeah.
But that's what's the good thing with Luton, because you don't know no different.
Right.
Like everything, this is what you're used to. Yeah.
Only people that know what you are ask you who you should be. Because I go abroad and people never know where I'm from. They never ask me, am I English? Especially if I keep my mouth shut, they don't know if I'm North African, Spanish, Italian. You know, if I'm in the Arab part of the world, they're saluting me like I'm Arabian, right? And I'm like, that's the beauty of it, you know. But as soon as they know, why it always has to be one or the other, you know? And I don't quite get that. For me,
what does it matter on me?
What does it on me? Right. And I think we need to go back to some of these things of on me, you know. And I felt more Irish. I've connected more to Ireland, and I love Ireland and my family and everything I'm about. So therefore, in them moments,
it was a no-brainer to go play.
I was asked to play for both at the same time. And it was and commercially, it made a lot more sense to play for England. It would have hired my profile. It might have got me a move and whatever. But at the end of the day, I didn't feel it.
Yeah.
It wasn't me.
That was just you being real, though.
Yeah, without a doubt. True to myself. You know, not the opportunity. I was true to the fact that I'm Irish as far as I'm concerned, and I didn't think anything else of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was amazing. It really was.
Yeah, that's good, man. It's lucky you did as well. Like you said, you won one of the biggest competitions that footbally they've won, really.
Yeah, it is the biggest. Yeah. Apart from qualifying for World Cups, from an actual winning perspective, the under-16s won 2 months before we did, and then we won as the under-18s.
So there must have been a good team. You must have had a good team there then.
The team was unreal.
Was it?
Yeah, the team was
Did
unreal.
a lot of them go on in that team to go on and do?
You only need to have a little look. Damien Duff won the Premier League. Robbie Keane. Stephen McPhail had a fantastic Premier League career. Richard Dunn.
There was everyone.
There
was everyone in there.
Yeah, the team was
Robbie
fantastic. Keane. Yeah. And the team just above us were very good as well. So you're looking at there was players like Ian Hart was a couple of years above us, Alan Mabry, all of the kind of Leeds.
Yeah.
If you look at the Leeds team that was really successful, 2 or 3 of those were Irish, you know, and then below us, some ridiculously good players as well.
Could you tell they were going to go on to do big things from that age? Obviously, that's still quite young. But
I thought 18's not young. Well, they were doing big things.
Yeah.
Do you know, Damien Duff was flying from Premier League games and just trying to win the league with Blackburn. So they were already in the limelight by then and doing ridiculously good things. If anything, you kind of think, well, I can't wait for my time, you know, because I'm playing with these guys. I'm holding my own. I'm getting picked on merit. So therefore, when am I going to rise up to the level that they're all at? And that sometimes you're like, I know I'm as good as them, but I haven't had the opportunity.
I feel like football is a lot about opportunity, though.
Yeah.
A lot of the time.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, I feel like it's just about being like the right place, right time, and doing things in front of the right people.
I think if you're good enough, you get there.
Yeah,
I really do. Finding your levels a bit different. I think some players never, unfortunately, get an opportunity to play at a level that might suit them. I certainly found it. This is really weird. The higher I played, the higher leagues I played, the better I played.
Yeah.
You know, I felt that if I would have played in the Championship or the Premier League, I'd have actually found it easier to score goals because I was with better players.
Yeah.
So my runs would be matched.
You're just surrounded by better
more
people.
Quality, right?
Yeah,
so I found it more difficult, and some players didn't. Going down the leagues, I found non-league the hardest part of my journey.
Yeah.
Because, and that's not to say players were better or worse. I just didn't feel we were connected as much.
Yeah.
We couldn't spend as much time on the training ground. The quality was lower. So my game massively suffered because I didn't have any massively physical attributes. I wasn't ridiculously quick.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't strong. What I was a cheeky goal scorer. But I required clever passing, clever runs, you know, waiting for little opportunities. And that, I struggled as soon as I came away from an environment that kept playing in that, and I didn't have a skill set. And also, wasn't enjoying the game. And also forgot what I was good at. That's the crazy thing about life. And you might have heard me talk about this before. I say to any footballer, any sportsman, work on your strengths all the time.
Yeah,
Weaknesses got nothing to do.
You did say it to me. I said to you, I need to work on my left foot.
Yeah.
And you were like, well, why do you need to work on your left foot? Just work on like you said, work on your strengths.
Yeah.
If your right foot's working for you, work on how to get even better at using the right foot where people can't stop it. I think you referred to Arjen Robben.
Yes.
Cutting in on his left.
Yeah. I think
Can't
that
stop it.
a coach would always want a perfect footballer. Of course they would. But if you're talking about what makes somebody brilliant, your strengths gets you everywhere in life. I say to everyone, and again, your strengths, whatever your job is, work at them because that's what makes you successful. If you're not good at accounts, let someone do the accounts. If you're a salesman, sell everything you can. Sell everything, you know, but don't try to be someone you're not. But in football, I started trying to do things I was no good at. Because when you're playing a game of football, and I'm 5'10", I'm 11 stone, you know, hold the ball up. The only reason I was getting that is because that's the only thing I was no good at. But when your teammates are saying that, and you go, well, actually, I need to get better at it. But actually, no, that's my weakness. And that's why I'm hearing dialogue about it all the time, because I'm getting put in situations I'm not very good at. But no one said, flick it more, run around someone, take him on, because I was always good at those things. And then you go away and you go, wow, football's not going my way. Maybe I need to hold it up more. I'm not holding it up well enough. And no one ever said to me, no, get better at scoring goals. Yeah. Get better at timing your flicks. Master when you're going to do your good things, because you will never, ever hold it up as good as John Artson, who's 6'3", 15 stone, and he's got a chest as wide as a chest of drawers. He's built to do that, and you're not. So you have to stay in your lane. And that's what we don't tell young people. We don't tell anyone that. What are you good at? And work to it and be a master at you, not...
Yeah, I'm trying to master everything.
Right.
It's going to be a bit hard. It's going to take you even longer.
Well, you'll never get anywhere. Nah. If you read books, great. If you don't, listen to an audio book. If you don't, listen to a YouTube video. If you don't, watch a film. But you've got to know, how do I take information in? What am I good at doing? And if you don't like reading, don't force yourself to read. But you can take an audio book and get the same information. You can have a conversation and get loads of it. But you've got to say to yourself, what's my learning style?
I think it comes back to what you were saying earlier. It's just about finding yourself.
Yes.
It's important. Yeah. Is that a really important thing for you in life then? Like a life lesson?
It's important for everyone.
Yeah, I think it is.
And I don't think we're encouraged to do that. I think that you guys, everyone has to make a decision at 16 and 18 to everything they want to do. Who do you want to be? What do you want to learn? What do you want to specialise at? What do you know at 18?
That's what I feel like. I just treat everything as a stepping stone.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what you want to... I've never known what I actually want to do. Like right now I'm doing something different to what I was doing.
And it's a long life. You've got to keep putting yourself out there and saying... And I think everybody has got something they're very good at. Yeah. I think everybody's got something they love. Some people just don't find it.
Yeah.
I'm lucky. Football's the most played sport in England. I found mine really easy. Hey, fell out of the house. Oh, there's a football. Hey, I've got it. It could have been violin. But if I've never picked up a violin... because I've never been exposed to one, how am I ever going to know? Yeah. So I think the biggest job of self is go and, if you don't know what you're passionate about, go and try as many different things as you can for as long as you can until you find something that you really, really enjoy, and then stick with it.
What was the transition like coming away from football then? Did that affect you mentally? Like, what was it mentally like coming from a football? Did you go straight into physio after?
No, I probably went through everything. You go through rejection. Again, you learn to distract yourself. So I finished football and said, well, I'm going to take my control back. I'm going to play football semi-pro. I'm going to get a personal training diploma. I'm going to build a personal training business. I'm going to be all right. And this was my new kind of thing. I started personal trainings. I started playing football semi-pro. Again, still getting injuries, still politics. And then I was thinking, this isn't enough. And then I was like, well, I came back into the pro game for a year, and then I was like, no, I can't do this. And what I didn't realise, I wasn't dealing with it. It was like a death, But what I was doing is I was distracting myself with other goals. And that's with goal-oriented people, we do this, You create another goal rather than reflecting on what's gone right or wrong with the last achievement or failure. What can I learn? How can I move on? So my next goal was, right, I'm going to prove everyone. I'm going to get a piece of paper that says no one can take it away from me. I'm going to get a Bachelor of Science, Brilliant. That was my goal. When I was at university, my dad died. No, I've got to finish university. I've got to get this degree. Nothing will get... My dog died. Another one. That's all right, but you've got to keep going. You've got to keep going. I finished university. I got a nice, stable job. I was with my wife, and I went through a bit of a meltdown.
Yeah.
And it was literally because I hadn't dealt with that transition in any of those events, because I was distracting myself with the final goal. And I had an awful time. And it wasn't for long, but it was kind of, I haven't dealt with any of this. I've had 5 years of trauma.
It does catch up. It will come back.
Caught up with me when I was at the happiest.
Yeah.
And it all come back one day, punched me in the face. And I was like, what? I haven't dealt with any of this. And I never had a mentor or anyone around say, stop, breathe. Calm down. It's okay.
Yeah, think.
Just relax. Yeah. Stop fighting. Stop fighting. Yeah. And I had to work all this out. So I get people that feel depressed and low. And I think a lot of that sometimes is the fact that you haven't dealt with
the situation.
What's behind you. You haven't dealt with failure. You haven't dealt with good and bad things. And accepting it and saying, well, okay, this went right, that went wrong. Let's move on. So the transition took a long time, you know, and I don't know, everybody will have different transitions and different stages of their life, but I think what you have to do is make peace with what's gone and try to move on to what's next. Otherwise it will get in the way of where you're going to go after that, you know.
Yeah, and haunt you. Just haunt you.
Well, it does. Well, we all have self-destructive tendencies.
Yeah.
So whatever any human beings is, it will always come back and bite somebody. For some people it's drinking. Some people it's gambling. Some people it's messing up the relationship when it's going at its best, you know, pushing back on it. But it's back to knowing yourself. It's the whole.
Yeah.
I hope you get the whole concept of. I think life is about is self mastery. I know I'm still an idiot. I'm still a wind up. I know I'm that guy. I've got more control over it now, though. You know, I still like pushing people's buttons. That's who I am. I just know when to push them.
Yeah.
I just know if that person needs me or wants me to push them, or if they can tolerate it. You know, but that's back to self mastery, and it isn't through making loads of mistakes and messing up loads of relationships and upsetting loads of people that I've come to this, you know.
Yeah.
Shouldn't always have to do that, but I still think that everybody should master who they are, you know.
That's where it comes learning, isn't it? You have to make these mistakes and go through these things to realise where you're at.
And you have to think about them. And you have to take responsibility. You have to not blame the traffic. Oh, the boss at the job. Because that's the other thing we do. We distract or we blame. You know, distract myself with a new goal, or it's someone else's fault.
Yeah.
It's the manager's fault. It's this person's fault. It's the agent. Sometimes it's not.
Just take accountability.
Personal accountability. I think that's what we're lacking massively at the moment, is somebody going, what could I do better in that situation? I've upset him. All right, what did I do wrong? Because it wasn't because he was just aggressive to me. I played a role in it. What could I have done? Do I need to apologise? Do I need to build a bridge? You know, because I'm the master of my own actions, you know. I took offence
Sometimes
to it.
being a bigger man as well and just owning up.
It's being a man.
Yeah.
It's not even bigger, because none of us are bigger or smaller. It's
Yeah.
about going, you know what? I was wrong. And I upset you. It probably wasn't your time. I didn't realise today you were a bit grouchy, you're a bit tired, and I'm poking you and winding you up. Apologise.
Yeah.
We don't do that enough. We don't give out apologies. We don't accept responsibility. And we certainly, even those the ones we love, we pick everything out on the ones we love, which for me, again, I used to do it as well. And someone said to me, why would you take all of your anger out on the people that you love the most?
And the people that are helping you the most
People
with the
that
situation.
and want you to be the most successful, right?
Yeah.
And no, they can tolerate it because they love me.
Yeah.
No, they don't deserve it.
can't.
They're trying to love you and trying to help you. So if anything, the world should maybe take a bit of your anger and resentment, but your people you love shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because they want you to succeed, you know. And I think that's back to mastery, accountability, and it all starts with self. It really does.
But what made you really fall in love with physiotherapy? Was it helping people through their toughest times?
No. Selfish.
Was it?
Yeah, of course it was. Yeah, of course. I was always injured.
Yeah.
So I had this affiliation with, well, I want to fix myself first. You know, why have people let me down? You know, so it's back to blame again.
Yeah.
Well, I would have been a Premier League footballer if that physio would have rubbed my hamstring properly.
Yeah.
You know, I'd have been if they wouldn't have overloaded me, if they'd have known what was better for me. So I'm going to be better than them. I'm going to know myself better than them. That's how it starts. And then you're like, well, actually, I can help people here.
Yeah.
You know, I can make people's lives better. I don't want anybody to feel the way I felt coming away from a situation, not knowing what the problem is, you know, not knowing how to deal with it, because the unknowns are horrible.
Yeah.
It really, for all of us,
Yeah,
unknown in
yeah,
anything.
it
Oh,
is.
I'm injured. I went to see the doctor. Well, what did he say? I don't know.
You know, that's what I hate with doctors, because they don't know. That's the problem.
Well, if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
I think what they should do is they should tell you what they do and they don't know. I think this is back to communication. And that's where I started to think, well, actually, if somebody comes to see me for an injury or treatment or whatever, I'm going to admit what I don't know. I'm going to sometimes upscale that and say, listen, this is not my job to do this, but I'm going to be honest. And when I know what's wrong, I'm going to explain it so they understand it, you know, and so they can make peace with, I know what the problem is.
Yeah.
Because everybody that has an injury, and you say to them, what's wrong? They don't know. So how do you know how long it's going to take? How do you know the problems it's going to cause? So it ended up me being, I wanted to be a neurological physio for quite a long while. And like I said, I was forced to come into the private because I felt like I was making a massive difference in people's lives, giving them their independence back. You take someone that's had a stroke and they're bedbound, and all of a sudden 6 weeks later, they're walking and they can go home and they've got some of their functionality back. that makes you feel really, really good.
Because there is a way. That's what I mean. There's always a way. You'll find a way.
Yeah. But then
some people just don't know the way.
No, and that sometimes takes time. And I think we're quite broken at the moment because we don't give people the way all the time. You know, we just fill them with stuff.
We want it quick
and push them back out there.
Yeah.
Go, you'll be all right, whatever. But that doesn't work. Certainly with the human body. I mean, it's an amazing piece of kit. But if you give it a bit of guidance and you put it in the right environment, it will never let you down, you know. But if you don't know what you're doing, then, you know, the risk is massive. So it started off really, really selfish from a point of view of kind of everything's about self. Everything's about fixing self. You know, a failure is all about me. Success is all about me. But then as you start to unpick it, you're like, well, actually, I really enjoy helping everyone else. And that also helps
satisfaction
me. Of course.
And
it all leads back in this cycle of I'm helping them, but this makes me feel good, right?
Yeah.
You know, so that's how it started. And now I'm obsessed with the human body. I'm obsessed with helping people. And I just love, and that's mentally, physically, lifestyle. It's not just, right, you've got a hamstring problem, let's sort out your hamstring problem. Because life isn't as simple as the human body isn't.
I don't think life's simple.
No, it isn't. Yeah. So I'm becoming more holistic in how I look at everything and how I learn and how I develop. And that's another step on the journey, which I'm at now, where I'm trying to create more awareness around just being human in every state, emotionally, physically, you know, spiritually. I think that's really important.
When you had quite serious injuries when you did, I think you showed me the ankle one or the leg break or something like that. When you were in that dark time, because everyone who's had an injury knows when you've got an injury, it's a horrible time to be in. Like you said, you're in and out. You don't know how long it's going to take. You got to do this, that. How did you used to dig yourself out of them holes to like rise back up and come back out of it?
That changed. It changes, I should say. When you're in a professional football setting, you've got a support team. You've always got a timeline. You know, I broke my leg significantly against Wigan. I've got screws in my leg, I had a plate in my leg. I had to have extensive surgery, but I knew that it would be 6 months. So what you do then is you start to work in small chunks. I want to be back. I want to be back walking. I want to be back running. But so again, it's back to distraction. You can distract yourself all the time with another goal. You'll see sports people all the time, even on social media, half an arm cycling on a bike. They're back into distraction. You go, what's he doing? I'll be sitting on the sofa not doing nothing. Because he's distracting himself already. Because as soon as you get back working, you're not feeling sorry for yourself. And you're also not thinking about what you've lost, what you're not involved in.
You're not being negative.
You're not being negative. You're getting back to work. You're getting back to work. When you're not in an environment that helps that, like probably you and me later on in life, that's a lot more difficult, because not knowing how long will this take, I need to be out with the lads, because sport for all of us is social. It's our connection, it's our respite from life. So that's when I think it's a lot worse. It was my job to do that, but now it's more my leisure time, my meditation, as you were. It's harder now because 2 weeks out of football, not playing my pals, I haven't got a release button anymore. You know, so I don't want it to be 2 weeks. I want it to be 1 week, and then I'm going back, you know, injured. So it gets dark, but you have to keep saying to yourself, well, I want to get back there. I want to get back and play. I don't want to get old. My one is now, because I'm 42, and I'm saying, oh, I still want to run around with these young boys. Hey, my ego's there. You got to get your ego in play, right? Your ego can be your friend or your enemy. You know, my ego right now is saying, well, I can mix it with some 35-year-olds, get my elbow sharpened. You know, I can still run around. So I use my ego so the dark times don't come. I could really feel sorry for myself and go, oh, should I give up? Should I do this? Should I do that? What good's that going to serve?
Nothing.
You've sometimes got to say, what's the plan? Well, how do I start? Right. And that's why knowing what's my problem. That's why I'm really in my practice. I try to give people the most definitive diagnosis I can early on, so then we can create a timeline. They can get an expectation of what's going to happen. And that's one thing I think that everybody should do, and they don't do. They never tell. It's soft tissue damage. That doesn't mean anything. What soft tissue? You know, because skin heals in 10 days. A ligament takes 3, 4, 5 months, right? So by saying soft tissue, it could be any of them. So I think that my main aim with what I do is to get through those dark times. You create a big plan, you create a smaller plan, and then you get little goals straight away, because distraction's probably the best way to not feel sorry for yourself, not be depressed, not feel dark.
I feel like that's like everyday life as well.
Yeah, it all kind of works into
all
each
works.
other, doesn't
Like,
it?
even like injuries, even just
I'm glad
normal
you boys
life.
are getting it, because
Yeah.
that is
No, that's how,
sport is
it's
life.
Little.
Exercise, injury, it's all life. You've got to get a mindset that you attack everything the same way.
Yeah.
Whenever you got a problem, you reverse engineer it.
That's why for me, like, I always liked being injured. Not being injured, but if I did have an injury, it teaches you have to find a different way. Right. And it's going to take a little bit longer to get there. Or you have to find other ways to structure around your workout. So for me, it taught me other ways instead of sitting there and just like, oh, da-da-da. But like you said, it correlates with life.
You've
It's
also got to say
exactly
to yourself in that situation, what's my body telling me? What's the universe telling me? You know? So you've got to be very mindful of going, well, I keep getting injured. Am I overtraining? Am I overdoing it?
Well, when I was younger, I was definitely.
Am I pushing too
because I was
hard?
going work,
right?
this, that. And
they're just as important. Those things are really important. But like you said, people don't get. It's all the same thing.
It's all the
Success
same.
is this.
Yeah.
It's just a replication and a carryover of habits. It really is. So. But people never connect the dots. I say football is a microcosm of life. Why? Because it teaches me discipline. It teaches me to do something over and over again to become a master of something. I have to create a plan or a tactic to try and beat someone. I have to accept losing because you don't always win.
Yeah.
I have to reflect on that losing and create a plan for the next game. Or to get better, I miss a chance. Right, I have to go back and practice a bit harder. How's that any different in life?
Yeah,
Same as business.
And it's
as
what
well,
it is.
exactly
Like you said,
the same.
people do not understand that either. Or if you don't train, or a lot of people, like my mates, some of them, they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, training's helped me stay on this path because I adapt it to my everyday life. It's exactly the same. How I train and how I live, they both correlate. And it's strange. It's weird how it works.
It's not strange. Though,
It's not
because
strange,
habits.
but it is sort of
It's weird
strange.
when it clicks,
because when you put
it
in
hasn't
two
been
and two,
clicked.
yeah,
Right.
For people that don't get, it, they're like,
But
what?
then you can take that same rule everywhere.
Everywhere.
You create. What do they say? They say a dream is just a dream unless you create a plan, and then it becomes reality.
Yeah.
Right. So you reverse engineer. Right. How do I get to that dream? How do I get up there? You know, and then you just come back.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it just stays in there in the cosmos. And you listen. You can try to think positively all you like, you know. And there's some great books that talk about thinking positively. But if you still don't create a plan,
Yeah, you've got to act upon it. There's so much other factors that you can, like you said, you can
Right.
read these books and that, but if you don't know how to use it in the right way, and you just be reading for days because you don't know how to apply it.
Training, practice. It doesn't matter if you're a painter. Practice
Failing.
Yeah.
Be the best painter. Yeah. Practice failing. Without, and that's what we're talking about. There's going to be some days you don't jump in that ice bath.
Yeah, there's gonna be days where you hate it and you
You're
just don't want to
failed.
get up. Yeah.
Right, okay, but what you got to do is you got to say, well, why have I failed? I'm too tired. I went out last night. I was a bit hungover, blah, blah, blah. Right, I've got to get in there tomorrow. That's a failure. Why did I fail, though?
Yeah.
I know why I failed. Now, can I correct that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I say to footballers coming out of the game, you have got an unbelievable skill set. You can work under high pressure. You've played in front of 35,000 people. So you know what pressure is and you deal with it nicely. You've been in fitness all your life because you've got fit all your life, right? So how are you not saying, well, I know how to deliver a personal training session, for example? You've been personal training yourself for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, right? Just carry it over. You turn up on time. You're disciplined. You know how to train. You know how to work under pressure. You know how to create a plan. Everything in life is the same
It's
thing.
exactly the same. And that's what makes me laugh.
Yeah.
I love it because it's just when you see it, it's just like, it's mad how, I don't know, for you, for me, when you just talk about it and you just put the dots together, it's like, it's so simple.
It's Neo and the Matrix.
Yeah.
There's so many examples.
But it's crazy.
You laugh.
No, I know.
You
Yeah,
laugh.
it is.
But when you see it, you get it.
Yeah, it is.
And then you just apply it all. And the numbers and the code all looks the same and you become at one with it. And that doesn't mean you don't have bad times. Of course
No,
you do.
you
And
do.
is that why people from one point might get successful? Like they might be a successful footballer and turn, like Jay-Z, for instance, is successful with music, turn that into business, turn that into this.
He's the best.
So obviously,
person
like you
to
said,
be
he's
applying
just got
it,
that
mate.
thing and just applied it in the next job. Applied it in the
Discipline.
next job.
And Kanye West is doing the same
Yeah.
thing. He doesn't listen to rules in music and went outside the box. He's not listening to the rules in fashion. He's not really even in politics. Listen, the guy's even cutting his head the way he wants to. These days.
Mate, he's renaming himself
That's
to
what I mean.
Yee.
Yeah. Fundamentally, he knows
he is such a big influence, but he can take people where he wants to take them.
Yeah.
And we all like that with our own lives. But the only time it becomes a problem is when you try to be someone you're not. When you try to not apply your own rules. Yeah. When you're not even adhering to any rules of your own, you know, that's when you start to have problems, because you're going to be upset and you're going to spiral because you're not really being true to yourself.
You're not being you,
No, and
everyone have picked that out of you as well. Not being you.
Everybody, every success book, they all have, this is what a billionaire does in the morning. This is this person. This is that person. What I'd say is they've all got a habit. Some will take an ice bath. Tony Robbins takes ice baths. Some meditate. Some do gratitude journals. Some do yoga. Some do exercise. But what it means, they get up and they start their day with a positive habit.
They all do. Yeah, it's like you said.
It doesn't matter
structured.
what your habit is. Not everybody has to jump in a plunge pool. I can't do that. But I'll walk my dogs. I'll listen to audiobook my first hour of my day.
That's just as healthy, though.
I'll try not to look at social media, to let any negativity in the first hour of my day. I'll listen to something I'm really interested in. I'll go out and walk in the hills.
Yeah.
That's my day, how it starts every single day. That's my habit. And everyone should develop their own.
That's your own zen.
Yeah.
You've got to find your own zen.
Without a doubt, some religions pray when they get up.
Yeah.
You know, these rules have been around for a very long time.
Just applying it in the way you want to do it.
Because they work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like religion.
Without a doubt.
Certain aspects you get in books that you it's the same for like law of attraction and that. People say, oh no, law of attraction is like a religion, because even in the Bible and that, it's got the same things as law of attraction. Yeah, same principles.
But the principles, the values, they're all good messages.
Yeah,
and they don't last this long because they're not fantastic. All we've got to do is we're just writing it in a different way. You like Nike, you like Adidas.
Yeah.
Still a
so
shoe,
how it works for
right?
you, yeah.
So whether you're Muslim, Jewish, Catholic, again, or atheist, you still got to apply certain values and rules to life, and they are all the same rules. They're just delivered in slightly different ways.
Yeah.
You know,
just a different story.
Of course it is. And what the story does is it connects with the audience.
Yeah.
And that's why you get all these influencers are connecting with people who like them, who are connected to them, who they resonate on the same frequency.
Yeah.
So that's no different to anything else in life. You kind of lean to people that get you and get your values, your likes and whatever.
Yeah.
But it's still the same.
And that, like you said, that is. That's what I mean. When you have them conversations, it just like, boom. It's like when the penny drops, it just completely like...
It's difficult.
That's why I love training for me, because like I said, training's just got me out the hole and it's just kept me... Like you said, you have your bad days, but the thing is, you always bounce back. I'm always going to bounce back. Okay, yeah, today I fucked up. All right, let's go again tomorrow. You just keep going. You know what it is? You're just chiseling away at your future.
So do you know what I would even say? You didn't fuck up.
No, you didn't fuck up. You just had one of those days.
Yeah, so, but
it's a normal day.
Yeah, but we all have days.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why you've got to stop this whole self-talk that's evident. Even if something does mess up, doesn't matter. It's an experience. It's another one.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not bad. It's a learning objective. You know, what went wrong? Was it my fault? You know, it's not bad.
No, it's not
a
bad.
lesson,
Yeah, it is.
You know?
Yeah.
Conor McGregor says you either win or you learn. You know, Roger Federer says things like, he doesn't celebrate 1 point the same way he doesn't get mad at losing a point.
Yeah.
You know, because the next point's the one that matters. It is what it is. It's gone. You know, I think we have to get back into this. Are you getting up every morning? Are you pushing on? Are you taking another step forward?
Are you knocking down those little goals? Is it making a difference?
And how? And then we had Frankie on the other week, and the messages are exactly.
Yeah, it's funny because like all the people we have like on it's
the same sort of message.
It's the same discipline, but just like you said,
In
it's
a
someone different story.
Yeah.
It's just a different story. But you see, with all successful people, it's the same.
It's a delivery, right?
Yeah, and it's lovely to see. Because when you start seeing it of different people and different stories, it's just like
I think that's what life is, though. Life is who you connect with. You got a Samsung. I've got an Ericsson, he's got an Apple. It's still a phone. You're still communicating. I think that what people have to do is they have to seek out the people that tell a story or talk about values, the people they like.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way we move forward. We've survived for thousands of years on stories by bonfires, right?
Yeah.
But now we live in an age where you can share information all across the world and people are getting a bit confused by that because they don't know what to look for.
Yeah, or there's too much to look for.
There's too much to look for. So that's why you've got to kind of find your people and start to vibrate on their level and try to get them to influence. Don't follow people you don't really care about. Don't get this troll society.
Yeah.
If I don't like somebody,
I don't follow them.
Yeah. Go
And I
down that
certainly don't
path.
comment on their posts. So if someone's saying something I don't like, I don't want them in my spectrum.
Yeah.
You know,
You
but
don't want
we
that
want to
energy.
hunt them out and say, well, you shouldn't say this, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
I'd rather not have them in my life.
Yeah, 'cause social media can be like that as well. You can go down. A lot of people go down the wrong rabbit hole, man.
But they're in
Get
control.
lost. Yeah, they're in control.
We're always in
Yeah.
control,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you choose who you like, you choose who you scroll to, you choose who you follow, you choose when you read a message to comment on it. And sometimes you've got to look and go, and I've done this loads of, I want to comment on that.
yeah. Twitter.
My hand's shaking and I'm like, leave it. Forget it. Don't
Leave it
comment
bigger,
on
man.
it. Leave it big. No, not even big. It's not even bigger. It's not worth my
It's
time.
not worth. Yeah, it's pointless.
What am I going to achieve by this? What am I going to gain? You know,
Yeah, it's not going to make you feel no
to have
better.
tit for tat.
nothing. When people believe stuff, no form of rational conversation. It would be like a Muslim and a Catholic trying to convince each other which one's religion's better.
Yeah.
They both believe.
Yeah,
in their
you're
beliefs.
not getting anywhere.
You're not going to get anywhere. You'll be there hours. He's going to quote a scripture. He's going to quote one back. Well, you're wasting
Yeah,
time.
no
You both
matter.
believe. You're
Yeah.
both good people. You both get on. So
Salute.
some things you don't like, leave it there.
Yeah.
Concentrate on the positive.
This is a question we've been asking everyone that's been on so far. This is going to be like our question of the pod. What has been your most euphoric moment? Like the moment where you feel like you were there and you were just like, you took everything in, you were like, Jesus, like this feels like it could be the peak sort of thing. It don't have
Not
to be
even in
in
sport.
football. Yeah, it doesn't have to be in sport. It could be helping someone come back from an injury and you were like, yeah, this was like brilliant.
You know what? I mean, I've got a 2.5-year-old. I'm always going to say it's the birth of my daughter.
Yeah.
And it definitely is. But there's loads.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of life. You know,
Yeah.
you can have loads of moments.
yeah.
And they don't mean that one, if I said I scored in the European Cup final, does it devalue my daughter's being born? No, of course it
yeah.
doesn't. I've
It's
got
just different.
collections of, and everybody should have collections of moments.
Yeah.
And this is what we've talked about today. There shouldn't be you have to choose.
Yeah.
That one's ridiculously special. Seeing cuddling my mum is ridiculously special. You know, all of these things, and there is no platform to what is higher than the other one because they all make us feel completely different.
Yeah.
Now we could say in the podcast, well, yeah, I scored a goal in the European Cup final, yeah, I won in the nation, I was proud and I was happy. Yeah, I was all those things. Of course I was. When my daughter was born, I was a lot of different things. But we have loads.
Yeah.
And different days, they mean different things. If I sit and think about what I'm thinking about today, yeah, the European Cup final feels amazing today because we're talking about it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then I'll go home and I'll hug my daughter.
And that,
And then
And that will
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
amazing
yeah,
because I'll look
yeah.
at pictures of when she was born and I'll go, oh my God,
Yeah.
that's a little me. That's a little human
Yeah.
being, right? You know, I graduated university. Another one, you know, so I just encourage people, collect as many as you can and put them in a little box. They're all special. They'll all mean something completely different to you. You know, and everyone will have their answers, but I'm someone that says, oh, listen, I've got
Yeah,
millions.
that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I really am.
That's not straight up. It's just, it is true.
And have as many
You
as
can't
you
have-
want.
yeah.
Yeah, because haven't we got enough of the shit stuff?
Yeah.
You know? Can we sit here and talk negatively about
Yeah,
enough
yeah.
stuff? I think what you guys are doing is brilliant, and you've got to go to the positive more. We need
Yeah.
more positive vibration. We need more talking about good things and euphoric things and how good people feel, you know, what success is. And let's pick everybody up and say, you know what, and you.
Yeah,
He come
and it's
from
good because
Marshall.
like, having these conversations, it's only uplifting. Every conversation we've had with all these other people as well, it's just like every time you finish it, you're just like, bloody
Yeah.
hell, man.
You're
You
like
feel
amped
you're
up.
like,
You're like-
whoa.
Yeah.
Because
You
that's
know what
what's-
I mean? But that's what the energy
Yeah.
it gives. It's,
People that do stuff they love, it's infectious.
Yeah, yeah.
And they can talk about it and they can feel it. And it, like you said,
it rubs off.
it rubs off.
Yeah.
I heard someone just yesterday saying it's the difference between, this is why this connection is really important. Not just doing stuff audio, but being around people. Because you could listen to, you said Jay-Z. You could listen to Jay-Z's album, right? And you could say, I love this album. It's my best album. It's brilliant. But if you go and see Jay-Z with 50,000 people and he's singing the same song, it makes you feel completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the vibration of
Euphoria
everybody
and- yeah.
singing and being connected with that song, it's the same song.
Yeah.
But playing it in your car and then playing it at a festival makes you feel completely different as a human being. And that's why human contact is so, that's why being around positive people
Yeah.
will lift you up. And let's not try to talk about too many negative things and go on those tangents, because like I said, there's enough of it. But positivity makes you feel great.
No, it does. Always uplifting, man. If you're around people like that, you can only do better. How could you not? You're not going to go down. Yeah, you're always going to
It can be that miserable if everyone's happy. Yeah, it's quite hard to do that.
I think that's a lovely way to like come out of everything as well. Today, speaking about everything.
All I'd say to anyone as a message: kids have a default of happy. When do we lose that? That's a question I'd ask everyone else, and I'd ask you guys to think about. Every child has a default happy. They wake up, they're happy. They only really get upset when they're hungry, when they're tired. And I've got a 2.5-year-old, so I'm really seeing this, and I love it. But I'm waiting to see, when does she lose her happy? Because we have a default, tired, I'm all right. Yeah, man's all right. Yeah, struggling. Same old, same old. You know, that's the general narrative when you talk to people. Yeah. They're not buzzing, right? Like, I've just finished work. There's a general malaise of everything's all right.
I think it's when you get into that stage where you've got so many priorities, so many things to think about.
Or maybe you've not found something that's took you to that level. Like I said, I've found something other than work now, so I'm just like, I'm bubbling because I know where I can go.
Maybe you lose it, and then you might find it whenever you find your purpose, or if ever you find your purpose, that it might come back.
We need to practice it because we're cavemen, and if us three had caught something today, we'd be coming and buzzing.
Yeah,
the fire's getting lit. Some stories.
But like I said, it does go back to like you need to go
still, right?
Yeah, you need to go back to your roots. We will never change that mentality of, like you said, cavemen mentality. That's just how we were. And we've lost that kind of way. Even like you said, going for a walk is so powerful. Going for a walk in the woods or just getting your mind clear.
Do happy.
People don't realise that. Go outside, put your feet on the ground. You know
whatever yours is, whatever yours. Everyone's
Yeah.
different, but do happy, and that's what I'd say to everyone. When do you lose your default happy? Go and find it, because again, if it was caveman times, us three now, we've had a catch. We're going home. We might have some
We're living
fermented apple, some magic mushrooms or whatever for the night. But we're going to sit and have a fire, and we're going to have a really good time. And we're default happy, laughter, fun, dancing, drums playing. We've lost it, you know. We've got to go.
Try
back
not to like surround yourself like watching news and too much of things and watching. You know, it's concentrating on too many other people. So just stay with you. Just stick in your own lane.
Do happy.
Do happy.
Yeah.
Is there anything we haven't covered for you that you want to mention or anything like that?
No, because we'll probably sit down again when you lot are really successful. And I'll be begging to come on. No. Just no. Thank you for inviting me on.
Nice.
Yeah, really grateful to obviously sit and talk to you guys, and let's keep pushing the messages.
Like I said to everyone who's come on, if there's anything you need to announce or like anything going on with your business or something like that, or moving warehouse, something, and you want to come on, or you just want to speak or something, just come back on.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm bringing a film out next year. I'm launching a product. No, thank you very much.
No, it's been good having you on, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
man. Spokesies, anything that you've thought of, anything you want to ask him, or have we
covered most of the stuff, really?
Yeah.
Don't be scared, Ultra Runner. Don't be scared.
Just one thing I want to say.
Go on.
In contact with.
So you've obviously seen a lot of injuries over your time in physio. What would you say the main ones are, and the best things to prevent it?
Great question. There are no main ones, because every injury is in isolation a breaking down of your body, an overuse, or something's failed. Okay, so you can't look at something like, are there any main ones to look out for, because different sports have completely different injuries. You know, if you're a footballer, you're going to have ankle problems, groin problems. Runners tend to have shin problems and IT band issues. But what I can tell you is the solution to all of them is the same. And the solution is listen to your body. Your body, the human body, is perfect in every single way. It doesn't lie to us. So back on this journey we've talked about, your body's a massive part of that. Don't ignore signs. Don't ignore, and there's a difference between, you're an ultra runner, between being tired, training hard, having DOMs. But there isn't a difference between, that's not a DOM's pain. You should know the difference. Anyone that trains knows the difference between, are my lungs burning? Are my quads on fire? To, oh, that feels like it's in a joint. Oh, that's niggling. Oh, that's not right. Because our bodies are telling us all the time. And when we ignore it, they get louder and louder. And we're optimistic. Oh, it'll be all right, it'll go away. Yeah, it's fine, it'll go away, I'm telling you now, the human body doesn't lie. If you learn to be at one with your body and learn some days, listen, you can crush it. You can jump up mountains and you can do whatever you want. And there are other days you've got to say to yourself, I haven't got that much in the tank today. I'm still going to go and train. I'm still going to go but I'm not going to die. I'm not going to go out there and kill myself, because when you hear even people like David Goggins is a great example. I mean, the guy's amazing and he's done some extreme stuff, but he's nearly died a few times.
Yeah, he's just relentless, and
But he would rather push himself to die. We haven't got that luxury in this room, of dying. I can't go to work Monday. So it becomes how much can I push my body? And training's brilliant to find that. And sometimes you overcook it. But when you overcook it, know where that line is. Reflect.
I feel like it's train smarter.
Well, train smarter, but you have to fail smarter.
Yeah,
you have to fail loads of times. And that's...
No, you failed to find that.
Well, if you don't know where the edge is, if you don't get injured, you never know where the edge is. So you never achieve your potential if you don't get injured, which is the darkest part of it. But also, if you don't go there, you don't know it. But don't ignore it. Don't keep going there. Don't get shin splints and then next year shin splints again. Oh, strap it up, shin splints. Hamstring this guy here. Do you know what I mean? So you got to go, well, are you not listening to your body? Are you not doing? Because your body's telling you, oh, it felt a bit tight. It's talking to you then, isn't it? Because people will always say that, oh, yeah, I knew it was going to go. Well, why didn't you do anything?
I don't understand that
as well. You think, like, the body will just adjust to it. Like, that's what I think a lot of the time. Like...
Yeah, but that's back to in your body. So there are stuff you can adjust to. You are going up a hill. My quads are burning my lung. I can keep pushing and my body will either work to its capacity or it won't. But there are lots of things that aren't your now system talking to you. That always feels niggly. That always feels like it's in the joint. It's sore the next day, Muscles recover really quickly.
And they're the things you don't want to be overdoing.
But joints don't. And you've got to know your body. You might be able to run 6 times a week. Great. I can only run 3. I can't come and train with you 6 times a week then because I'm going to break down. But that's all. Every athlete. You've asked the question. If I could answer that, I wouldn't be sitting in this room. I'd be on Joe Rogan's podcast, and I'd be a multi-millionaire. But all I would say is, like I said, the human body, it's amazing. If you can become one with yours and know what your body gives you back, you won't be far off your potential.
That was a good question, Charlie, man. And that ends us on a high note, another positive podcast. I hope everyone at home to get your notepads out. Get your notepads out. Take some notes. These are people that have been there, done it, and have been at the top of something. Take your notepads out.
Still
take
doing
it. Like I said, thank you, Liam, for coming on. I appreciate it, man.
No, thank you very much. Thank you.
And we hope you enjoyed another episode of Fiji and the Ginge. Thank you.
Cheers, Ginge.